Thank you for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I will be doing something a little different than my other videos. This video will be going into deep detail of my raid healing build I have put together for Kara. I'll split this video up into 3 smaller sections. The first section will go over my current gear, the second part will be the build and the REs, and the third part will be a small gameplay demo of the build in action. Let's go ahead and jump in game. I will see you there and in the next video. Let's go. Starting off with the gear from top to bottom: Mage Collar of the Firestorm, Warp Engineer's Prismatic Chain, Moonglade Shoulders, Avian Cloak of Feathers, Incanter's Robe, World's End Bracers, Life Bearer's Gauntlets, Wavesong Girdle, Stormsong Kilt, Boots of the Glade Keeper, Ring of Convalescence, Scintillating Coral Band, Dark Iron Smoking Pipe, Scarab of the Infinite Cycle, Nexus Torch, Windcaller's Orb, and in the main hand we have Blade of the Archmage. There are some improvements to be made. You could get some of the White Mend or Swift Mend pieces, but right now this is not my tailoring main. That's on my alt, so I wouldn't be able to benefit from the set bonus, unfortunately. Ultimately, what I would want to do is socket everything with the 5 spell power and 4 intellect gems. Just for filler right now, I have spirit gems in my other gear, but given more time that I can farm the gems myself, I will cut them and put them in the gear. The head is enchanted with the 19 spell power and 9 mana every 5-second enchant, and the shoulders with the 18 spell power and 10 crit strike rating. Any gear that you can enchant, so you can get spirit on your chest piece, you can get spell power on your bracers, you can put a golden spell thread on your Stormsong Kilt for 30 more spell power and 20 more spirit, but unfortunately right now I just don't have someone to make it for me. I enchanted my main hand with spell damage as well. Moving into the build itself, we will start by going over the talent tree and some explanation of why I took the talents that I did. This healing build is primarily druid healing over time focused, with some splashes for instant cast healing for clutch moments, and one extremely powerful spammable heal when you really got to get someone topped off. Starting in Rest Your Druid, we have 3 points into Nature's Focus for the immunity to pushback and spell haste. This is essential for any healer. Every second counts in a raid fight, and getting pushback from damage will get your raid and your group killed. We put 2 points into Master Shapeshifter, 1 point into Natural Alacrity, 5 points into Gift of Nature, and 5 points into Nature's Bounty. This is the core of your build. You're looking to increase the crit chance of your regrowth by as much as possible. This also allows your regrowth healing over time to benefit from spell haste, which you do scale in this build as well. This will be an immense amount of healing to your raid, combining that with the legendary RE we will go over in a little bit. 1 point into Swift Mend for the additional bonus instant heal, 3 points into Nature's Rejuvenation, 1 point into Tree of Life, 3 points into Revitalize, 5 points into Gift of the Earth Mother, and 1 point into Wild Growth. The skills we take here are Rejuvenation, Revive, Regrowth, Rebirth, Tranquility, and Lifebloom. Over in the balance tree, we took 5 points into Genesis to boost the hot healing a little bit further, 3 points into Nature's Splendor, and 3 points into Nature's Grace. Nature's Grace is amazing because every time you crit with Regrowth and any other of your non-periodic druid healing spells, you gain 20% spell haste. The reason this is pretty crazy for Regrowth specifically is because it snapshots any haste or spell casting buffs that you have on you at the time, and will drastically increase the tick timer of your regrowth, allowing for an immense amount of extra healing. 3 points into Nature's Splendor gives us the capstone bonus, which increases the duration of your 3 biggest hots in the build: Rejuvenation, Regrowth, and Lifebloom. The only skill here we take is Innervate, and that's just for the mana regen. Moving over into the Hunter, we have Feign Death, just to get out of combat so we can res during dungeons and raids, and for an aggro drop if we have to during the fight. Over in Mage, we take Dispel Curse to help with some decursing during the raid, and Mage Armor just for the mana regeneration, plus the little bit of reduction to spell damage isn't too bad either. Over in Paladin, we take Beacon of Light just to help spread out your single target heals a little bit more, and Cleanse to help get rid of any nasty effects on your raid. Moving over into Priest, we have Meditation for the extra mana regeneration in combat, and the increasing stacking crit chance bonus to your heals, and we take the 1 point Independence. Over in Holy, we take Prayer Mending. Usually I use this on the tank just to help mitigate some of the initial spike damage of a fight. The last major part of the build is actually over here in the Shaman tree. We put 3 points into Restorative Totems, 5 points into Purification, and 1 point into Riptide. The skills we pick up here are Healing Stream Totem, Lesser Healing Wave, Water Shield, Earth Living Weapon, and Chain Heal. The other points we put in are Raise for the 6% base crit chance. The last point we put in Shaman over is in the Enhancement tree. We actually take this for the 100% bonus on Earth Living Weapon, essentially doubling the effect it gives us. Combining that with the RE, you get 160% effectiveness on your Earth Living. This alone gives me about 200 healing power total. It's really, really strong. The last thing we have to take in the build is over in the Warlock, and that is Life Tap. As much as I personally despise this skill and it being the crutch holding up the entire healing and caster meta at the moment, its efficiency for mana sustain is just too good to pass up. We can be a special snowflake if we want, but for raid progressions, I'll bite the bullet and use it myself. Before going into the REs, I want to point out that we did not take any utility-based totems or buffs like Tremor or Cleansing Totem in this build. For heroics, you can take points out of other skills to pick these up, but in a raid environment, they should be covered by at least one DPS in your group, so you don't really have to worry about it too much. Going over the REs for this build, we will start with the legendary. Blooming Growth is the core of this build and why we are focusing so heavily on crit and haste rating. In my current gear setup and with the REs I have on my gear, my Regrowth has a base crit chance of 51%. You can easily cover your entire raid in the Blooming Growth effect, and it will contribute an immense amount of healing for your raids. The two epic REs I'm using in this build are Evergreen and Frugal Disposition. The reason I chose Evergreen over other REs is because Lifebloom, when spec'd into it properly, can heal a single target for over 1,500 HP per tick. The sick thing about the RE is it only refreshes by casting your Regrowth, saving you the mana from having to recast Lifebloom in your rotation. And if you really have to, you can still let Lifebloom finish its duration for a massive single target heal. I have personally seen it crit for 9.9k in a raid setting with full buffs. The other epic RE I use is Frugal Disposition. Frugal Disposition is stupidly broken. Without raid buffs, my Frugal Disposition can heal for over 2.5k health per tick. This RE and spamming Lesser Healing Wave can save your tank from almost any situation. To put it into context for you guys, I was able to heal a friend Elysium for over 10,000 HP total in 4 ticks of this Frugal Disposition. The blue REs I use for this build are 3 Elemental Weapon, 2 points into Nature's Bounty, 3 Revitalize, 3 Gift of Nature, and 3 Restorative Totems. Quickly touching on why Revitalize is really good for raid setups is your Wild Growth will hit up to 5 targets. Combining this RE with the talent will give you a 27% chance to give the target 8 energy, 4 rage, and 1 mana back on up to 5 targets. In a 7-minute fight on Maiden the other night, this one talent alone gave my raid over 60,000 mana. The last and most impressive combination of this build I want to highlight is Restorative Totems. Unfortunately, the footage of our guild's first maiden kill got corrupted, so I can't physically show you just how absurd this is for your raids. Our first kill took a little over 7 minutes, 2 of our DPS died early to unlucky Repentances and Holy Fires. But I do have 10 other people to vouch for me because in raid cons after the kill, I pointed out how much healing this Healing Spring Totem actually did. The totem made up 27.8% of my overall healing, doubling the healing from my Regrowth, which is the most powerful heal I have in my build. It healed for over 288,000 health in 7 minutes. One healer putting that much healing out would be nearly impossible with a single castable spell. And the most mind-blowing thing is you can stack these totems. Each Healing Stream Totem will be a separate source of healing, allowing multiple people in your raid to use this setup. Don't sleep on this combination. It could be a huge help to you and your raids. Alright, so here I am over in Nagrand, guys. I will be using myself to simulate as a target for my single target tank healing rotation. Just so you guys can get an idea of what it looks like from my perspective is if I'm healing a tank. How I start the fight off is I start with a Prayer of Mending, and then I stack up my Lifebloom up to 3 stacks. Get that up, and then hit them with Rejuvenation. At this point, I monitor the duration of my Lifebloom. If it's getting low, I refresh it with Regrowth, and then Rejuvenation if I have to. If the target is taking an immense amount of spike damage, what I do is I refresh Lifebloom and I try to keep these up to 3 stacks at all times if you can. It is your most powerful hot. So I keep Lifebloom up, hit him with a Riptide, start with a Penance, Naturals, Alacrity, Regrowth, spam another Regrowth to refresh the Lifebloom, and then start spamming Lesser Healing Wave. This should save pretty much any tank from any situation if you have to. And again, monitor the hot duration on your Lifebloom and Regrowth if you can, alright? I have recruited 2 guild members here, Aqua and Tab, to simulate some of the AoE potential of this build. How I personally like to AoE heal is I start off typically with either a Wild Growth or fishing for a crit on Regrowth. So if I need to heal a couple people, say this is simulating a melee group and a tank, what I'll do is I will fish for a Regrowth crit, got one lucky, get the Living Bloom effect on everybody, and then spam the tank with Prayer of Mending. In between that, what I can do is I can fish for more Regrowth procs, and then chain heal. Between this and the Healing Stream Totem, and Tranquility if you need, you should be able to keep your group up pretty much through anything, and this allows other casters and healers to life tap, including yourself, fairly easily without dipping your HP bar too low. Alright, so that's the build. Do you agree or disagree with my current setup? I can tell you from personal experience, I am having an absolute blast playing this healer. It is exactly how I like to play healer. I've always been a druid healer, and being able to splash for some extra spells is really, really fun for me. I will leave a link down in the description below to my personal Discord. If you have any questions about this or the video, you can leave them there or down in the comments section as well. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you again for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your night. Bye-bye.